Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Marriage Life Now. I'm Jerome, and this is my beautiful wife right here beside me, Tara. Man, we're so elated that you're taking the time out to join us for this episode. And what we're going to be talking about this evening is communicating properly or effectively within your marriage. And babe, won't you tell them what communication really means, or the meaning of communication?
Well, communication it's really effective exchange between, it's an effective exchange of information between
Right.
two or more people.
Effective
Exchange
exchange
of information
of information
between two or more people.
between two or more people. So if you're not effectively communicating in your relationship, you're the person we talking to and want to talk to this evening.
Right.
Because in a marriage or in a relationship, excuse me, one of the most important parts of that relationship is an effective communication. And we found out that even in our own marriage, that we was hitting some bricks and walls, whatever you want to say, because we wasn't effectively communicating with each other. And you think just because you talking with your spouse, spouse. I'm thinking about Thanksgiving, y'all, them spices. But you think just because you talking with her that you actually communicating, and that's not necessarily true. Because there has been times, even in our marriage, that we have had to have conversations concerning different things. And man, I'm up here thinking I'm being very clear in what I'm saying, and so do you think that as well? And really, the objective of the situation just went haywire.
Yeah.
I mean, we just wasn't connecting at all.
Yeah, so when we're talking about communication, we're hoping that you're having great, effective communication, but there's all type of communication that's going on.
Good.
So whether it's good, whether it's bad, or whether you're not even getting your point across, you're always communicating. But we want to help you get to the point of where it's effective, where it's good,
Yeah.
where you're getting out of the communication what you're expecting on the other end of that. Because too many times people are talking and they're hoping to get the other person to understand what they're saying, but you're not always doing that. So what we find out that it actually takes a lot to communicate
Man.
with someone. And I just wanted to make sure we're clear on what we're talking about, because communication, it affects everything.
Yeah.
It affects
And
every area of your relationship.
Again, you think, man, I'm doing this, I'm telling him how I feel, I'm sharing my desires and my emotions, but is he really understanding, or is she really understanding what you're saying? Because if a person understands what you're saying, then you'll see the difference. You'll see a difference in their behavior, their actions, and their posture towards you.
Right.
But when there is no understanding, all you was doing is talking, and all he was hearing, womp, 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 womp. I remember there was a what you call it?
The cartoon?
Cartoon years ago called Charlie Brown, and the teacher, every time she was like, womp, womp, womp. And I'm like, how do you understand that? Well, guess what? In your relationship to the other person, sometimes it sounds like womp, 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 and you think they understanding you. They are not understanding you at all, and you're not having an effective communication. Now watch this. I wrote down something. A good a good marriage or relationship thrives on being able to have an open exchange or emotion, desires, and beliefs. In fact, communication is one of the most important aspects of a satisfying relationship or marriage. When a marriage, it's amazing to me, because when a marriage is going through rough times, when your marriage is going through rough times, you really think you're communicating.
That's what you think.
You think you're communicating, and a bad communication line is only setting you up for destructiveness to come in. So in other words, what I'm saying, when you're not communicating right or properly, you are having destructive patterns going on in your marriage, in your relationship. So what do that look like? Okay, I could be saying something, she could be saying something, and your patterns are going like this versus going parallel with each other.
Right.
And you be like, why things is, because you're having all these different patterns in your communication, but nothing is parallel with each other. Yeah. I'd rather drive down a parallel street because now I can see where I'm going versus going down a street that have a lot of hills and twists and turns, because now I only can see a certain distance.
You're not on one accord.
You're not on one accord.
Yeah.
Not at all. So this communication is so important for you to have. And today we want to be discussing the negative side of this communication.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
Yeah, so how are you communicating? Have you really thought about it? Are you constantly having the same situations come up in your relationship, and you're coming up with one thing, and then you think, you know what, I don't even want to talk about it. Let's not even talk about it anymore. Guess what? It's coming right back.
It's coming right back.
It's coming right back. Unless you really get down to really learning how to communicate with one another, think about how the other person responds and how you're responding to different things that are being said. You want to make sure you're watching your body language, watching your tone. These are different things. I mean, I'll admit, I've had challenges with myself. Between the both of us, my husband, most of the time, he really communicates a whole lot better than I do. And this is something I really had to work on for myself.
That, even like today, my wife and I, we work out together. It's a lot that we do together, man. I just love it. But today we was working out together, and in our workout regimen, I threw in us hitting the stairs.
Yeah, we did something a little different.
Yeah, did something today. It's like 6 flights of stairs, and each flight have about 12 steps in it. So as you can imagine, it's quite a few steps that we hitting. And she was totally unaware of the routine that I have done before on my own. So when it was time for me to explain to her or to communicate to her what I wanted her to do, I didn't fill her in on the whole thing so she could have a full understanding of it. I basically was like, okay, we go up a flight, then we come down, then we're gonna go up to the next flight, and then we come down. But I didn't say we come all the way back down. See, that one missing word and me giving her instructions caused something to happen with her on the inside. And won't you share that?
Yeah, because I thought initially I understood what you were asking me to do in this exercise.
Yeah.
And then when I saw when we kind of got in the middle of it, I said, wait a minute. He didn't clearly say this is what we were going to be doing.
And tell the people how you felt.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the middle of it. I got my mind all set to go with what I first heard you say. And so when we got in the middle of it, now I'm starting to feel a little frustrated on the inside because I didn't gear myself up to actually go through all of what you really meant when you told me what you wanted us to do.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, that's not what I heard him say. So I went along with the entire routine, Then we finally finished the routine and we got back, and I said, you know what? This is a perfect example of communication.
Yeah, and watch this. Got a question for you. Who fault? Who was in fault?
And you know what? I could have easily felt like it was his fault.
My fault.
And when I explained to him what I was feeling, he could have easily said, you know what? That's your fault.
But here's the answer to my question. The fault lies within both of us,
Absolutely.
not just one person.
Right.
I failed to give clear instructions, and then she failed.
I failed to actually make sure I understood
Stood.
exactly what he was saying. Because if I would have clearly came back and said, you know what, I think I heard you say this, so is this what we're going to do? And if he would have said, you're right, that's exactly what we're going to do, then I would have been clear on what he wanted us to do with our routine.
But watch this. Listen to this, folks. She went through the whole exercise frustrated. Now, she could have simply, like I told her, when we went up to the second flight and came back down, she could have simply said, hold up. Because we had like four more flights to go.
Yeah.
She could have stopped me right there and say, okay, I think I didn't understand you properly.
I must not have.
So are you saying every flight we go up, we go all the way back down to one?
Yeah.
And then go back? She could have and then I could have reinstated what I wanted her to do.
Right.
But because she failed to say or to even ask me, hey, is this exactly what you're saying that we're going to do? It's not just her fault. And in marriage, you can't always point the blame.
Right.
Sometimes you gotta sit back and say, where did I mess up at? Or where did I fail to understand what he was saying or what she was saying?
Yeah, because you have to not just look at it in your own point of view. You have to look at it and think about, okay, what are they trying to say to me? And not always look at it and think, I'm right in this situation. What I found out in our
babe,
relationship.
I'm sorry. I even when people give me instructions, I tend to say, okay, before I haul off and go and do it,
Yeah.
I tend to say, hey, is this what you saying you want me to do?
Right.
So I kind of repeat it back to them, and if that's not the case, then now they can turn around and say what they re-say. Y'all know what I'm saying. They can turn around and tell me again what they really want me to do.
Yeah.
But in marriages, even in ours, when you will come home or you have something on your mind, or if I had something on my mind, or you was feeling a certain way, we never say, honey, is this what you're saying? Babe, is this what you want me to hear?
Right.
We just hold off and hear, like, okay, here's an example. My apostle used this as an illustration. He said he would look at his wife and say, hey, you going to get your hair done today? Something to that effect. And what she heard was, so what you saying, I need my hair done? And that's not what he was saying. He was saying, hey, you getting your hair done? So you can say things, we can say things to each other and we hear differently because we two different individuals,
Right.
and we hear differently.
Right.
So it's important when you communicate that you are clear in your instructions and you are clear in what you're saying.
Right.
I'm the type of person, I like to make sure people are understanding what I'm saying. I don't like individuals to understand what I'm saying. So, going forward, watch this. And I like this too. People say this all the time. I mention this, when you're going through your rough times in marriage. And we talked about the destructive patterns, but you hear this all the time. We just can't talk. we just can't talk. Well, in fact, what you're really saying, you're not having effective communication because you always saying something. I remember there was times with Tara, I would do silent moments with her. I would go into a silent zone. And she could be talking and I'll just be sitting there. Talk, baby.
So are you saying, baby, you hear me talking, right? You do hear me talking. Hey, Ron, you do hear me talking, right?
And guess what? Even though I'm not saying anything, I'm still communicating. So you can play these little mind games with your spouse or whatever, but guess what? You're still communicating. Everything you do, you communicate. Body language says something. Facial expression says something.
It does.
So Tara and I, on today, we want to just give you some things that will help you recognize when you are not effectively communicating. And that one of them is, watch this, don't start a conversation if you know you're tired.
Yeah. Not a conversation where you know it's going to take time and it's something really important that you really need to be talking about. We're not just saying you can't talk because you're tired.
Yeah.
But if it's something that you really need to take time out and talk about, don't do it while you're tired. You may need to take another day and say, we need to discuss this at another time.
Yeah. Number 2, don't have a extensive conversation when you're hungry.
You seen that commercial when they talk about that Snicker bar?
Monroe, eat a Snickers.
Why?
You get a little cranky when you're hungry.
Oh my gosh.
You're getting a little deep in this.
I found out this one here.
Yeah, I can admit mine. If I'm hungry and I'm just not focused, give me something to eat first. Let me settle this, and then let's communicate. But if my mind and my body is saying it's time to eat, guess what? It's time to eat. I don't have time to sit here and go back and forth or get into this long, drawn out conversation. I need to eat.
Yeah, those are things you want to avoid. One of the things you want to make sure that, when you're having a really important conversation, that you guys really need to talk about something that's very serious. Make sure you're not angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to do it while you're angry because so many times you kind of come out and say things you probably wouldn't normally say if you thought about it. So don't have those type of conversations when you're angry.
And look here, and in the Bible, I believe it's James 1:19. It says, "Be quick to hear and slow to speak." That's James 1:19. Be quick to hear, slow to speak. You don't want to always haul off. If you find yourself doing this as she's talking, you just can't wait to jump in to say what you gotta say. So you really not paying attention.
You're not listening.
It's like doing that double dutch. I'm an all man, but I did do a little bit, know how to jump a little bit double dutch. And man, in that double dutch, you gotta find that right time to jump in and communicate. You don't want to do that. You want to sit there attentively and hear what your wife or spouse is saying, and then process it within, and then respond.
Right. Don't always be critical when you're communicating. Don't be demanding. Just make sure you're taking time out to really listen to what the other person is really saying. See it from how they may be thinking about it, because you're not going to always think the same way. You're not going to always hear the same way. So just take time out, ask questions, ask clarifying questions, just to make sure you're clear on what the other person is saying, so that you're able to really have an effective communication with one another.
Yeah, we want your marriage life to be awesome, and communicating is one of those keys that we found out even in our marriage that it has to be some work done.
Right.
Like I told you from the very beginning, in order for you to have a thriving, successful marriage, it's work got to be done.
Right.
So next week, we're gonna come on the next episode. I always say next week. I don't know why I say that, but the next episode, we're going to be giving you some keys to practice on having this effective communication. So, hey, until we meet again, your best marriage life now is here when you need it to be. However, you have to put the work in. You got it, guys? All right, Tara and I got to get out of here. We got to do some things grown people do. So we talk to you later, all right? Love you.